I'll talk more about what we just experienced on Monday, and that was what it looks like when there's no aggregate, and that's teams going for it with no repercussions of if you concede another goal. So we have a 1-goal lead, and they're going after it. The goalkeeper comes up at the end, and it's a little bit chaotic. Teams can go for it. And so you have to be prepared for that at the end of the game. And, we just discussed some of that in terms of set pieces. So that's a good reminder of what the game can look like when you're playing with the lead. And on the other side of it, the ability to just go after it in a very aggressive way to find a leveler, when it's a 1-goal differential. So that was the reminder from this particular game. I don't think we need to go back till last year to be, reminded of what this format can bring in these initial games.
Are you warming up to the format? Did you ever have I guess, let me rephrase that. That assumes that you had a problem with it to begin with. Do you like this 3-game thing now that you're in it for the second time?
Why are you doing this?
What are
the format's the format. I don't know if I want to get into all the specifics of that right now. Maybe there's another time for it, but it's the format we're all dealing with. It's tough, I think, in our sport to play the same team potentially 3 games in a row. I don't love that aspect of it, but that's just me. So why I think that, maybe we'll save that for another time so we can just kind of focus on getting through this without talking about what we do or don't like about what we're all having to deal with.
I was going to hop in on the 3 times. On the 3 times, that was one of the things I wanted to ask. Pat, what are the challenges of facing a team not only for the 5th time in a season, but in back-to-back weeks? Like, is there anything specifically really challenging that's different?
That can depend on your performances against those teams, results. I think both teams, are obviously familiar with each other, and the more you see certain things, I think the better understanding you have of what you can expect. That doesn't guarantee any success, but you can see how tight that game was. I saw a expected goals, stat, but the reality is it was a 1-goal game. It was very tight. The first half there wasn't much for either team, and I thought we created some really good opportunities in the second half, but a lot of our success came from set pieces as well, attacking set pieces. But both teams are pretty familiar with each other, and so I hate to say, be cliche and say the margins are small and it's little details, but there were some things that after looking back, I think we need to adjust to be better positioned to have a good performance in the second game, where maybe we didn't get punished for some things, or maybe we were just a moment off from creating some good opportunities in our attack. So that's the focus now when you see a lot of the same thing, when teams are, matched up against each other this many times. But we've also seen, them in a back 3, them in a back 4, different attacking shapes. So we have to be prepared for those things as well, because, that'll look significantly different as far as what the, with and without the ball part of the game looks like.
Some version of traditional wisdom may suggest that because NYCFC lost the first game, that they're going to have to be the ones to make changes in the second game. Do you feel the need to change things just to change things, to not be so as maybe predictable isn't the right word, but the same as game 1?
Not necessarily, but there's now, having just played and analyzed the game, some things that we need to be prepared for changes on their side, and then a couple ideas that we have so that the play isn't so predictable if we think that we need to make an adjustment or two. So those are certainly things that we're preparing for and and hopefully put us in a position to, like you say, not be predictable with our, with our approach.
How's DeAndre doing? And did everyone else come through the game okay?
Yeah, he's better. Day to day, he'll be out there this morning with the group. So it's, a knock he took, and it's just kind of managing that, knowing that, he's a player that isn't going to lose a whole lot of fitness if he's not on the field. Obviously yesterday, today. So we're just kind of taking it a little bit more conservatively. Everybody else is okay.
And then with Luka playing forward these last couple games, do you view him as a forward now, or does it kind of depend on how you're feeling about the wingback position?
I wouldn't say I view him as a forward, but we view him as somebody that's versatile and being able to play different positions. So I like the way it's looked the last couple games, but that doesn't mean that, that's where he'll be moving forward. So it's given us some, good ideas of what it looks like with him in a little bit of a different role.
Pat, some of the guys came into the facility this morning dressed for the holiday.
Mm-hmm.
How important is, this season touches 11 months of the calendar. How important is it to introduce a little bit of levity along the way?
That was their own doing. There was
Really?
no
Okay.
demands to come in and in a costume, but I like the fact that guys have a sense of humor and want to enjoy, the day and dress up. So it brings a smile to people's faces, which is, it's still important to find ways to relax and enjoy our profession, but with not being so serious in this moment that we can't enjoy other aspects of life.
Yeah. We usually ask you about the opponent before the game, but we just did that on Saturday for Monday night. I wonder, what do you expect you'll see from New York? And I just asked you
Yeah.
the series format, how that impacts things, but would you just expect them to be more aggressive, kind of have to go for it from minute one as opposed to when someone edges out in front?
I think, though, we expect a very aggressive approach, whether that's, them stepping up, from minute one or managing the game in a different way, we'll see. But I imagine they're going to be very motivated and looking to put us, under pressure and make us uncomfortable. You also have to factor in the dimensions because pressure arrives in a different way. You look at how they press at home and on the road it's a little bit different. So we need to, be prepared for that. But we expect an even more challenging game because of, the fact that we're playing at their place, one of their places.
Yeah.
So, it'll be a challenge. We know that. But some of the things that I just spoke about with Carter about little details of the game that you expect to be a little bit different going into this second game. So, those are some of the things that we're going to put our attention to when we step out on the field here shortly. But they're going to be motivated. They're going to be up for it, and we can't expect, because we had a strong first game, that means it's going to look the same in game two. We're going to have to do everything that we did well, just as well on Saturday.
So, real quick, I just wanted to revisit something. I had asked you on Saturday and maybe before that about the playing surface. Don't have to go back to that. I think you made your view on that clear. Have you been given any assurances about the field, whether it's dimensions, what they've put down on the infield, so you'll just get there and measure it out?
No assurances. We have an idea of what the dimensions are.
And is that based on last
I wouldn't
time
say
then?
there's 100% certainty, but we're going to prepare for those dimensions in training.
Right.
So
And is that
the actual quality of the surface, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that's something we'll find out when we get there.
But are the dimensions based on your last trip there in 22, or what they do again?
Based on the questions we asked to understand what
Yeah,
we were going
yeah.
to see
Okay.
and what we could expect. So
Okay, cool.
I can't speak with 100% certainty, but I do think there's we have a good idea of what the dimensions are going to be.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite Halloween treat of your own this time of year?
Oh man, I was always one for a Twix bar, but the English influence that we have has got me appreciating a different type of chocolate, and that's tough to admit because we like to think we do a lot of things better than the English in our office, but they do chocolates pretty well.
Did you see the costumes that guys
I've
did?
only seen Lucho,
Yeah, this is pretty good.
and I don't know who's going to top that.
I gotta get you on the record about this.
We'll see.
2024, yeah, it's up to you. 2024, Halloween's now get canceled. Trick-or-treating gets canceled, gets moved around. What do you think about, based on weather, other factors?
Okay.
How was that like when you were, how would you compare that to when you were a kid, and do you like that in today's culture?
I don't like cancel culture in general, but if Halloween weren't to take place, what would that have done to me as a child?
Yeah.
I would have probably cried, sadly. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done, but that would have ruined the day for sure. I don't think I would have handled that in a mature way. So hopefully we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.